University, the voice of Reichman University.
The Baseline. Stories from the court with Jonathan Rears and Mayor Cohen.
All right, we're back. The Baseline podcast with Jonathan Rears and Mayor Cohen. We got a very special guest to kick off Season 3. This is Season 3, Episode 1 with Jalen LeCue.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you coming out.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you for having me.
Yes, sir. Jalen LeCue, 4-star recruit from high school. He decided to go straight to the NBA draft. 5-star recruit?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Okay. I was a 4 because I skipped out on like McDonald's game and Jordan Brand to go to the NBA. That's the only reason.
So 5.
I give you the respect. I let you rock.
All right, 5-star recruit. LeCue, you played at Brewster,
yes, sir.
right? And then went to the draft, went to the Suns. Mm-hmm. Then you went to the Pacers for a year. Yep. Then the Herd, right? Bucks G League affiliate.
Yes.
And then he went to the Vipers for 2 years.
Yes.
And now you're out in Apollo-Fula.
Yes, sir.
So normally when we have guests on here, first of all, thank you, welcome. We're excited. We like to kind of really hear about everything about their life, their stories, their background. We want to hear all the stories and want to feel comfortable to share. But I always find it interesting to start with your family. Like from a lot of hoopers that we talk to that come out here, a lot of their inspirations, a lot of their parents played basketball. They had basketball in their family. So just to start off, as we're kind of going to go through your career and how you got to where you are here, how big was basketball in your family growing up, and maybe the sports of the area you grew up around? Like, I know, of course, we'll get into it in New York, how it's a huge deal, but maybe in your family specifically, was basketball always a big thing in your family, and was your family pushing you to do it?
Yes, for sure. My dad had me in basketball since I was about 3. He put the ball in my hands, and he's really supportive, and my family's really supportive in my dream and always supported me in my dream as much as they could, even though a lot of them didn't play basketball, but they had the knowledge from watching it a lot of the time. So they put the energy and focus into me and my little brother, into being the best basketball players and the best people we can be, and they did a really good job in my opinion.
Oh, yeah, they did. That's great. A lot of people we have on here talk about how important that is, just having a supportive parents and people around them, and how huge it is, especially once you come overseas. To kind of have that to lock you in is huge. Mm-hmm. So when you first went to high school, you had this adjustment between living in the Bronx, if I'm correct, and then moving a little bit outside. Mm-hmm. So tell us a little bit about maybe growing up, being really young in the Bronx, and how basketball is like, we know that New York City is the mecca of basketball. They call it all the time, Rucker Park. It's like, that's what it is. It's New York City. So tell us maybe a little bit about the hype growing up, just everything revolves around basketball. That's the thing that all the kids want to do, and kind of moving into high school, how you continue to be so excited about the game.
Well, from the start, New York is just a magnificent place to be able to play basketball at and grow up in. And I have a little bit of both New Jersey and New York in me, because I moved to New Jersey around like 8 or 7 years old. So I got a lot of Jersey experience and played with a couple of Jersey AAU teams as well. But I went to high school and I went to middle school as well in my 5th grade year in New York. So I got a lot of experience with New York. All my family lives in New York, and I represent New York as well, but I also represent Jersey as well, because they taught me a lot about just having pace and just basically making my game better, So it's a lot of love to Jersey, and especially love to New York as well. And through high school, I was just, I wasn't really the top rated dude for a long time. My 9th grade year, 10th grade year, I didn't even start on my varsity team. I didn't start until actually my junior year, and that was late in the year because I had torn my ACL into my sophomore year. So, I never was really recognized as much like that. And then when I kind of moved away to play with Southern Stampede for AAU, it kind of changed my trajectory and ratings and stuff, because I went from unranked to playing in 6 months, being unranked, to I think I was like number 8 in the country. And it was just a lot of going for me, a lot of mixtapes coming out, a lot of hype. And, my parents really kept me grounded, because a lot of dudes let that go to their head, Like, I've seen a lot of guys growing up, and even myself, it went to my head somewhat at some time, with the Jelly Fam, Jam Fam, stuff like that growing up. And, you just have a phase, and it's just like just people wanting to be competitive. And I just think that's where I was at. I just wanted to be the best that I can be. And I believed in myself so much that it could have been delusional to others, even my family. So
That is amazing. I wanted to ask you, of course, about Jelly Fam and Jam Fam. I was really just curious. Of course, we, growing up, watched it all the time. It was cool to see. Was that something that was just on the internet? Was that kind of an everyday talking in your life? Like us watching it, that's all we talked about. I wonder how much the guys who are actually in it, like how much you guys talked about it. So how did that kind of start? I know Jelly Fam was first and then Jam Fam came along. So tell us a little about the little, I don't know if it was a rivalry or what you guys had going on, but just being a part of it.
Honestly, it's a really funny story. I have a really funny story about that. I wanted to be Jelly Fam bad, actually, because I'm from New York. So I'm trying to be Jelly Fam super bad when I was growing up. So Jelly Fam came out when I was probably like 14, 15. And I wasn't as known as a basketball player as I was when Jam Fam came out. That was when I was 17. So that was when I met Zion and Cole and we had a lot of players in that.
A lot of guys. Jalen Green, I think?
Jalen Green.
Yeah.
We had damn, I can't even remember. It was so long ago. I'm getting old. But that basically I was saying I wanted to be Jelly Fam super bad, and then I tried to ask. This is my guy now though for sure, and always been my guy. But Isaiah Washington, and they wasn't trying to put me down. So then I was pissed for a little bit, but then I kept playing them, and then my high school from New York was the rivals against his high school team. So then when I think his last year we played them in the playoffs, we ended up beating them in a buzzer beater that I made.
Shit.
And then I'm like, shit, let me start my Jam Fam thing. And let's go. And I'm starting to become him. So we started talking. When I went to Adidas Nations, that's when we first came together, because that was when we was all together. And that was when I saw Zion, Cole, Nasir Little. That's what I was thinking about. And a couple other dudes. We had Christian Brown. A couple other dudes I just can't fully remember at the time. RJ Hampton, shit, I forgot about RJ too. Yeah, we all came together. We was kicking it. We was like, yeah, we should come up with something, because like they got all the juice right now. Then we came up with Jam Fam, and then it just stuck. So I mean, we didn't really push it as much as we should have, because we was just trying to have something just as younger kids, you know. But I mean, it was a blessing though. So it was an exciting time, and just, you know, a good movement for basketball, I feel like, at the time.
Sure.
Totally.
And you talk about AAU a lot. What was the process like going to the different high schools? You went to Christ High School, and then eventually you ended up at Brewster. So did AAU kind of affect where you were going to play for high school? And what was the decision that made you go play at Brewster?
Okay, so I played at my first high school was Monsignor Scanlon in New York, and I went there for 3 years. And then I was young for my grade, so originally I was a 2018 class, but I would turn the age I'm supposed to be after school ends. You know what I mean? So I reclassed, and then when I reclassed, I ended up going to Christ School, which was like a military all-boys school. And it's like I kind of needed that though, because it made me a lot better just with being consistent, making up your bed, and having like people being on you for certain things and having punishments for it, you know? So me learning all those things in life and them helping me just through my journey, it just helped me a lot with my AAU, and I just felt more comfortable. I had better grades. I had a better system around me. Even though it was an all-boys school, it didn't really feel as much like it, you know? Like, so it was just really cool, and then a good experience for me. You know, we had to wear like a military suit, like suits every Thursday, and it was different for me because I'm from the Bronx. You know, we wearing hoodies, shirts, shorts, chilling. And so it was just a very different perspective for me that I saw. And it helped me a lot to grow and be more intellectual and caring of what I say, you know.
So this is the Christ School that you're talking about?
Yeah, Christ School. I love Christ School. Those are my people over there.
So you're 700 miles away from New York City.
Asheville,
North Carolina. So you have family coming with you? Are you solo? It's like a boarding school?
It's a boarding school, literally. It's a boarding school, and my roommate was a lacrosse. My guy, Zach. I forgot my boy, Zach. He played lacrosse. He was crazy. He was
lacrosse player.
He was hype all the time. He was always taking the pre-workouts before he worked out. He was super jacked. He was coming in yelling like all the time and stuff. It was different, you know, because I wasn't used to that. But it made me see different perspectives and see different people's perspectives, and I wasn't as ignorant as I was before I came there.
Right, and that definitely helped you throughout your career, stay disciplined. And then what actually ended up making that decision to go to Brewster? And that was post-grad?
Yeah.
So
that was because I was originally just going to stay in Christ School. And I wouldn't have been able to go straight to the NBA if I didn't go to post grad. So I wanted to give me that option, And then plus I already was like top 10 in the country, so I didn't really care if I dropped or whatever because I was going to the NBA regardless. So it was kind of like they can put me wherever on the ratings. I don't really care. I'm already rated a certain way. I'm in the late first round, second round on all the draft boards. So I'm like, I think I might need to go. And at the time, we wasn't getting paid in college, so it was a little different. You know what I mean? It was like, okay, you can go to college and hurt yourself, and now you in there for a couple years not getting paid, or you can go and learn against guys and actually get paid and learn the game from pros, you know? So I looked at it that way. And then once I started working out against these guys, I'm like, oh, I could play with these guys. And then once I gained that confidence, I was willing to go.
Right, so this was at a time where guys like you said, R.J. Hampton, Darius Baisley, I think, these guys, a lot of them weren't going to college. Like, that was kind of the move at that time. So you think, I mean, of course, it's the fact of the money now that you're getting paid in college. But was there another reason at that time where a lot of top guys weren't going to college? Maybe they didn't comfortable. We've spoken to some athletes that say they don't really trust somebody when you're going to college. It's hard to like know who's really looking out for you. So is that kind of a question that came up when you're thinking about going to college, or is it more just like you want to get experience versus, you know, bigger guys, pro guys, and then have those skill sets that to learn moving forward?
I believe both. I believe I wanted to learn these skill sets and stuff, and I also knew that I also needed a lot of work to do to be even prepared to be the player I wanted to be there. I mean, with me, I loved my college visits. I loved the people I had in my circle. I didn't have like a handler or anything. I had my father. So, I mean, it was no manipulation there, no taking of any type of money of any sort, of anything that can be finagled in our business, because my dad and mom ain't going for that. So so it wasn't even that, but it was more of me that like a lot can happen, you know? That was just my thing about it. Like, okay, at the time I just turned 18. I'm like, damn, like I can go to college and I can do well and not get drafted, or, you know, just too much stuff can happen, you know? And it's like, I'd rather just go and get my money now and learn with a better organization around me because I'm going to try to play pro. That's my goal. My goal isn't to play college, you know? And my goal would have been to go through college if that was the option, but my goal was to be in the NBA. So why learn from college people? You can go to the NBA and learn. And that's just how I was thinking at the time, and that's how my circle was thinking. And we knew I had a lot of work to do to get there, but they thought I had the chance to pull it through.
So what was the day-to-day like when you go to a place like Brewster? Well, first, I kind of wanted to ask, because I'm just curious, was any of the reason you went to the Christ Academy like religious reasons, like to go out there, or is that just called the Christ Academy?
Christ school is super religious. It's a Christian school, obviously, but
right.
I don't know exactly the type of Christian they are. But I mean, it made me believe in Christ even more too, though, just because of me doing knowledge about it. I'm Christian, just to to tell you guys, and it made me believe more in Christ even more, even though I already had a household that fully believed in God. But me learning about the information more made me more incentive in receiving that information, you know.
Totally. Very interesting. Okay, so moving from there to Brewster. So I'm always curious about these kind of programs like professional basketball. So we had some guys here who spoke about places they went to in France, like prep schools that really just, that's all they did was basketball 24/7. So tell us a little bit about what it's like at one of these places like Brewster, maybe showing up. Basketball's the only thing really on your mind that you're worried about, or you have people coming in and speaking to you, you're learning different things. And do they teach you anything like managing yourself kind of and your future, or is it kind of just basketball all day and that's the focus?
For me, for Brewster, it was really like a mini college for me, even though actually Brewster has a really big land. It's a boarding school as well. So it's a boarding school with a lot of activities on there, boys and girls. So it was a pretty experience of a college kind of to me. And I had a lot of high-level players playing with me at that time. I had Alonzo Gaffney, Joel Brown, rest in peace, my boy Terrence Clark, Kai Jones, Anthony Walker, like a lot of dudes on our team at that time. So, I mean, we were all pushing ourselves, and our main challenge, what wasn't the other teams? I think we probably lost one game that year. And we won the chip by like 25, something like that. But our main thing was just battling against each other to get us better, you know? And then Coach Smith and Coach Lee were just super great people and, you know, helped me all the way there and just let me know what I'm going to face because they knew what I was planning to do. So, you know, it's a blessing. For sure.
It's amazing. And then from there, going to the pros and signing your first contract with the Suns. Mm-hmm. How was that process like for you?
Man, it was a lot of emotions, man, because I left out of February from Brewster after we won the championship, and I was working out from February to draft night, Monday through Sunday. I had Sunday off, but that was like a recovery day. I was working out with TSF in Atlanta, and I think I had like 3% body fat, like fucking 185 at the time. I was super
60-inch vertical.
crazy light too. I think I'm like 205 now, but I'm getting older and stuff, so it'd be like that.
That's like got good food out here. So.
Yeah, for sure. But the process was just crazy, man. It was like everybody said if I can make it through this, then everything else gonna be easy for now, and I actually believe that because that it actually tests you if you really want to be an NBA player, like that work physical wise, and then when you get into the NBA, mental wise is the biggest thing that I say it pushes you, because physically you can get better in the NBA because everybody's good, but mentally is what you gotta worry about, is just the organizations, the fans, the people, the good and bad. Like that's why I gave up on social media for a little bit, because I was too worried about that. That's why I got off, and now I feel a lot better about it. I don't really care too much about opinions. When you dunk on somebody, you're the best, but then you miss a game winner and now you're trash. So it's like you can't please everybody, and I don't really care to, I want to just be the best Jalen I can be.
Right. So going out there, your first year, you played mostly with the G League team, with the Suns. Did you get a lot of experience playing out there? And what were some things that you picked up right away?
Yeah, I played with Jared Harper my first year. So that's my guy. He was on the 2A. I was on a contract there. And I was just really like how I came in as a sponge. I was really just coming in to just learn as much as possible. I had vets like Book, Kelly Oubre, Ricky Rubio, DeAndre Ayton, even though he's around my age, but experience in the NBA. But I had these guys that were pushing me and actually wanting to see me do well. So I was just really just trying to be a sponge there. I knew I was the youngest dude there. I'm not like the weakest dude, you know what I mean? I'm not like soft or nothing, but I was also the youngest dude there, so I'm accepting all the knowledge I could receive, whether if it's in a good or a bad way, because I just don't take it personally, because I know the position I'm in. I know I'm 18, and I know all these guys 24, 25, 23, kids, not kids, So I'm just trying to learn as much as possible on and off the court.
That's great. And then eventually you actually got traded to the Pacers. What was it like going through that process mentally and like physically, like getting back on the court in Indiana? What was that like?
It was a process. It's never too good to get traded, Like, you deal with a lot of emotions in basketball in general, especially at this high of a level. You deal with sometimes a doubt. You deal with sometimes of a high level of just happiness, sometimes when it works really well for you. So if I was to give any knowledge to anybody, I would say always be medium. Like good, bad, just be medium, because stuff can turn just like that in basketball. Like you can have a great 3-4 games, have a starting spot coming up, and then now you twisted your ankle. Now you out 2-3 weeks, and now somebody else filled that spot. Now you got to get that spot again, So it's a mental battle more than anything, I would say to anybody.
So when in your time that you were in the G League, you got to play with obviously all these amazing players, and interestingly enough, actually that you played with Cassius Stanley, who you guys were the brothers there throwing down dunks. They gave you cool nicknames on the G League stuff. I think it was the Flight Brothers, something like that. So playing with him for two different times, I think, correct, in the G League?
I played with him Indiana and RGV.
Indiana and the Vipers.
Yeah.
And then Cassius Stanley was out here playing in Afula last year. So was that the connection that you had to come out here? And tell us a little bit about that. Yeah,
Cassius is my guy. Cassius is the only person I'd be like, he might can jump with me, like, but Cassius is super dope, man. I knew him because we was both viral sensations growing up, so obviously we knew each other. It was super competitive as growing up. Everybody I was super competitive with. I never got close with everybody until I got probably to the NBA, just of how competitive I was. It wouldn't allow me to, because everybody was fighting for a spot. Everybody wanted to be number one, and that's how I thought. I didn't know how everybody else thought, but I wanted to be number one, and I was going at everybody who was in front of me, So that's just how I felt at the time. As I got more older, it's like I still feel that way, but it's more about relationships now, and it's like I don't really dislike anybody. So it's
Right.
like, it's not like that, you know, like anymore. When you're younger, you just like, my whole life was basketball. But as you get older, you got life now, you know? So it's like, it's not that deep.
Right. So I was actually curious because you mentioned both kind of going viral at the same time. So I want to go back a little bit and talk about more about that era that you had, because I'm really honestly interested when you're going through that as a kid. Like we have nowadays, you know, of course, everyone spends so much time on social media, and that was starting really when you were in high school.
Yeah.
So there must have been obviously a lot of pressure involved in that. And so when you're part of one of these viral movements, everywhere you go, it's like, oh, Jam Fam's here, and everybody's packing the gym. Talk to us a little bit about kind of the mental and going through that, because we have a lot of athletes on here that talk about how important that mental is, not only now, later in their careers, when they're playing overseas and they need to stay locked in, but also growing up and when everyone's the best player from their high school when they make it to the next level. So when you're there and you're kind of in it and going viral all the time, tell us a little bit about like the struggle that existed in that time. Maybe sometimes you got over it, or sometimes you had some tough times with it.
Yeah, I mean, I had a lot of tough times. I'm human. Like, I don't like when they say in podcasts or interviews, like, if they've never been through stuff. And that's something that's why I also didn't be on the internet and stuff like that, because I'm a real person, you know? And that's just me, though. But I've been through, you know, you go through a lot of things, though. I'm a human. Like, if you're in a situation where you get denied something that you've been working for your whole life, you're going to feel it way. Like, I don't know how everybody else feels, but I've been playing basketball since I was 3. So to be in these situations where the highs are highs and lows are lows, I needed time to figure out me to just be medium. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just think that basketball, for me at least, was just me. You know what I mean? I wanted to be, yes, I love basketball and that's me, but I'm not just basketball. You know, and once I started asking myself those questions, it really didn't matter about the opinions or anything. And at the time when I was younger, I loved the attention and stuff like that towards that, but I mean, it's good and bad, you know what I mean? Because now you got a target on your back, you know? But to me, I've always had that attitude because I've always been the youngest. I've always been the one that nobody thought was going to make it, you know? Like, I didn't start growing until I was a junior, you know? I was like 5'10", 5'9" my freshman year and sophomore year. So I didn't start growing like to 6'1" until I was a junior. And I'm like 6'4" now, but I didn't start growing and started getting to my game until I was getting older. So it was just, you know, a crazy experience just for me, and just realizing that you know, you just got to be solid and just stay medium.
It sounds like that really matured you, and like you got the discipline out of Christ School and then like all your career with the media and everything. And like it takes a lot of perseverance. So that's awesome, man. I wanted to talk about you coming to Afula.
Yep.
And we were talking about it on the way in here, is that you still have these NBA workouts lined up for you. So why don't you talk about why you came out here to get the European exposure, and what your next goals are for your basketball career?
Just for me, you know, I've never been a quitter. So, you know, I was just an endless cycle of just going through the G League, and then for the past 2 years not getting the contracts that I wanted. I just wanted just more of a broader genre of people being able to see my game. I don't feel like my game is subjected to just one league. And if I feel like I wasn't being respected at that level, then I have to prove myself at another level that is equivalent or somewhat of equivalent to that. So my goal was to come to Afula to play the best that Jalen can play and win a lot of games. And when I come back and get to these NBA teams and get to the Euro Cup or Euro League teams and just really just make my stunt and just have options, you know? And that was just where I was coming from with just coming out here, because it was my first time coming. It took me a while to get overseas because I had a different perspective of it than, you know, a lot of NBA players think coming overseas, you got a lot of stuff, you know, it's different, or you might not like it. And I wanted to try it, you know what I mean? Because I don't want to try it when I'm 28. Now I'm dependent on it, you know what I mean? Now I want to do it, and now when I'm 28, I got a whole career and 3 options. Now I don't have to be stressed, and you know, like because I see a lot of NBA players and a lot of past NBA players, or a lot of players that are in these situations where they have to push their bodies, and they're at the point where they're hurt all the time and have to push because they've been playing in the G League for 7 years and receiving that G League check for 7 years. Now they finally went to go get some money, and now they injured all the time. You know what I mean? Or they hurting, or they're older, and it's like, you know.
Right,
and,
for sure.
and
I
just
want to
don't do
ask
that.
actually about, like, you said you played in the G League for 4 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then now you're coming out here and we're talking about how there's guys, they stay in the G League 7-8 years and then they are dependent on playing overseas. So do you think that playing overseas actually helps to get into the NBA with more
For sure.
more exposure?
Absolutely. Honestly, I be on YouTube a lot, and I be seeing a lot of debates of saying that is EuroLeague, like, because EuroLeague is very great basketball, and I never really watched EuroLeague until this year, and how I watched how the EuroLeague and the differences with the NBA is very spaced out, and it's very I don't know, like, it's very it's basketball. Don't get me wrong, and it's just like EuroLeague, but it's more entertainment.
Right.
You know, rather than EuroLeague, they not really dunking. They making layups quick. They trying to press. Every possession is valued. You know what I mean? So it's totally different. So I feel like EuroLeague, they're trying to just win games. Whatever way they can win the game, they're just trying to win. But then in the NBA, it's like putting on a show plus winning. And it's like, yeah, I mean, I believe a lot of dudes. Lonnie Walker did it. My boy Wenyan Gabriel was just in the NBA on multiple 10-day contracts when I was on Wisconsin with him, and now he's with Panathinaikos, I believe, right
Yeah,
now.
he's
Yeah.
balling.
Yeah, so I mean,
Lonnie just got a contract in Philly from playing out here.
EuroLeague guys, Dante Exum did it too.
Dante
Dante
Exum.
Exum, yes.
That was
I mean-
all these guys. It's becoming a real option, especially
Right.
now as we're seeing, and it's incredible to see not only that, but also that the European game essentially is becoming much stronger. And I think people are realizing that difference between NBA and EuroLeague and kind of getting that attractive part to the game. I was reading about Adam Silver talking about it, making some kind of
NBA
European
Europe,
competition. And for us who've been out here for a couple years now, like, I enjoy watching a EuroLeague game more. I think you're totally right. I think you have that aspect of it's kind of similar to like a college game because they're in more sets and maybe the coaching is like that. But it's also more intense, and these guys are pros and the crowds are insane. Like,
Yeah, the crowds are insane.
they're really crazy. So we're excited for the crowds to come back and for the Maccabi team to come back and play in Tel Aviv.
Yeah.
Then also the other Hapoel Tel Aviv, we're hoping we'll have 2 Tel Aviv teams. But it's really great. But I think what I wanted to point out from what you said was you mentioned earlier that you were 18 and you were playing in the G League, or that's that level. So you already have these years of experience when you're really young playing with these in this pro level that other guys don't have. So when you show up here overseas, I want to hear about the transition and what it's like and making that decision to come over here. But you're not the typical guy who maybe goes to college or is there and then it doesn't perfectly work out in the NBA, so they come overseas. You're someone that has all of this experience from different places and then comes overseas. So your approach to do it, that's why you're having such a great season this year. I'm sure it has a lot of factors, but one of it is that you have all this experience from other places. So tell us a little bit about maybe things you're picking up here in the Winter League here in Israel that are different, and you can't really compare them to the other leagues or the other places you've played before.
Yeah, I mean, just basically the intensity is definitely up there because, you know, I think it's only how many games we play? Like
Not that many.
25
Yeah, I
or
was gonna
something
say
like
30,
that.
Once a week.
maybe 30.
Yeah, once a week, and it's like every game means something, and that's what I learned here. And then that was just off the court stuff, and then on the court, I learned a whole lot, man. I'm blessed to have to learn these things, and I'm glad that I came out here to learn these things because now going to the NBA, I can translate it a lot better because it's a lot more spacing. It's a lot more things that I didn't know that I could have picked up from college that I learned when I was overseas. And that's just from learning and talking to older guys on my team like Jacobin Brown, JP Takota, you know, just asking them certain questions because even though I do have experience, I still am a sponge to this day. Like, I don't ever think I know everything. And I think that's a really good, how do I say this? A really good key that
That's
I
a good
have.
trait to have,
For
for sure.
And I just always want to just learn, man. And that's all I do is ask questions when I don't know anything. If I know something, I'll contribute in the conversation. But if I don't know, I'm asking because I want to know. You know?
Would you say this is some of the most physical ball you've been playing?
Yeah, for sure. I'm injured. I was just injured this 2 weeks ago. I just played in my first game yesterday against Haifa.
Yeah, it's very intense. And so what I thought was interesting about that was you have all these guys that have this experience here, and it's unique, and they haven't had anything like it. but a lot of them have played in other places and then end up in Israel. I think it's a little more rare for Israel to be the first place. So tell us a little bit about that decision. We know that Cassius had a bit to do with it. But coming out here and maybe your first impressions, it's a little bit different from our traditional guys because a lot of them play in like Holon, these more packed cities, but maybe being in Afula just from like a standpoint of we haven't interviewed a guy from Afula yet, so you're kind of way out there.
Yeah.
So tell us a bit about it. Also, there's a game once a week, so it's not like you're playing multiple games a day. So just like on a human level, you're out there, there's not much to do. So tell us about more the mental really from that perspective, like how you putting in the work every day and how you're trying to stay balanced with being out there in European life.
It's a good thing that I have like a really good team, and we hang out a good amount. And I'm a really big game guy, so I be on a video game. I play Call of Duty, 2K. I really just be trying to do other stuff, like when I'm finished with basketball, done with the day, I try to do other stuff like fix my credit, learn more about real estate. Me and my girlfriend are really going on this journey on learning more about like different businesses to get into in the stock market as well. So I just try to keep myself occupied with stuff to learn.
Totally. It's super important, especially being out here. To, as I keep mentioning, with talking to guys, everybody has a different approach, but people understand that it's something that you got to be prepared for at all times. And it teaches you lessons, but you also have to learn other stuff when you're doing it. Mm-hmm. So another question I was curious about was coaching. A lot of the times we ask players how the coaching differs from place to place. And we know that as you said before, if it's an entertainment kind of style game, it's played in a different way. So here in Israel, maybe the coaching style that you've noticed. Tell us a little bit about that and maybe the training and how they prepare you for games, how it differs from the other places you play. If you're playing once a week, maybe, do you spend more time prepping on a team than you usually would? Or is it more focusing on your body and your training as opposed to game prep for the other team?
I believe here it's more about preparation for the next game. We prepare and watch film right after the game finishes. Not right after the game finishes, but the next day we practice, we watch film. And in the NBA, it's more about taking care of yourself. I feel like a lot of people in the NBA, they're trying to have long careers, because guys be getting traded in the games. Guys be getting a lot of crazy stuff waived and all types of stuff. So the only way you can help yourself to have a good career is preserve your body, and a lot of dudes be taking advantage of that. So
that's kind of another difference between entertainment and winning. Like a lot of these guys, winning is all they want, it's all they know. A lot of these programs here, especially how it works with the Israeli league, when you're moving up and down different leagues, you can't afford to lose a bunch of games. You need to stay locked in, and because you don't want to get demoted to the other league.
Yeah.
So I find that really interesting, and it's like a great motivation for players and coaches to get that going.
No, for sure. It puts a lot of pressure on the coach and in the organization, because it is hard to probably jump back up. It's harder to go down than to go back up in the divisions. And I honestly understand. I see the pressure. It's not really much. It's pressure in the NBA, don't get me wrong, but there's more guaranteed contracts.
Definitely.
So it's like if I do get fired, I'm still guaranteed.
Right.
But here, I don't know the coaches' contracts and stuff like that or what's going on, but I know it's pressure because if you go all the way to second division, it's going to be hard for other teams to win it.
Tell us about the process of signing the contract here, because I'm always curious to hear about that. Was it through an agency that you got that done, and how was coming to Israel? I know you mentioned Cassius was a big part of it, but compared to some of the other opportunities that were probably available to you, like why did you choose Israel as a place? Does it have to do with your faith? Is that a reason why you were here? And I'm just kind of curious about how that came up for you and how you're thinking about it in the first couple months that you've been here and the time that you spent so far.
At first it was hard to convince my family to come here because of what was originally going on, to be honest. But for me, it was about going to a place where it fits my play style. I feel like the Winners League fits my kind of play style in Europe. And if I'm going to play in Europe, I don't want to be pushed and play with the super top team. I don't want to go and play with a EuroLeague or Euro Cup team and then not play. So then it's like, what's the point of coming overseas, So I want to go somewhere and establish myself. So now when these teams look at me, they can look at me to plug me in with the confidence of me being able to do what they asked me to do on their team, So I see a lot of dudes that come from the NBA and they go to the EuroLeague and then they don't play well. Now they're back in the G League and now they're,
Right.
I'm not going to put guys on blast that I've seen that done that, but I didn't want to be that guy. So I'd rather just come out there and make a name for myself in Europe and then, now when I go from this summer, which is probably going to be the biggest summer, I have options between NBA, two-way, or fighting for a two-way, or going into training camps and summer league. And now I got an option if that doesn't work out. Now I can go to Euro Cup or Euro League. Or if it does work out the two-way, now I get a bigger contract with Euro Cup. I can just have options, instead of just having to just worry about having only the option of the NBA.
Right.
And them knowing that too doesn't make it better.
And it's definitely important to have this league of this year of playing here, playing very well at a high level, one of the top scorers in the whole league, and to be able to put that on a resume to show someone who's in the NBA or show a G League team a EuroLeague team that I have the ability to impact the game in this way, which is huge. And also the Israeli League offers, competitive pay compared to other leagues for sure, which is a big reason why players want to come out here. This is, one of the first leagues I started after COVID, and we had guests on here that played in China before, and they're like, sometimes you just play for a couple months, you never get a check. So that's another, attractive reason for players coming to Israel. But it's cool to see, and we honestly hope the game continues to grow here and it keeps going. We think they're doing well, and the Israeli players that have been living and growing up here are getting to a higher level, and it's fun for us to watch the Israeli players. So we're excited to see where that goes for sure.
Is there anything that on the court has changed for you that you've adapted playing here, maybe in your play style?
Oh, definitely my pace. I've always said this, that I've had to work on my pace because I've always played kind of like a Westbrook game of just playing real fast, trying to dunk on everybody and stuff. But now I'm on, getting to my spots. I've started working on a lot more of just picking my spots, being able to draw a lot of fouls,
creating space.
Creating the space, man. And just that was probably the biggest things I didn't learn, because in the NBA you have more space. So now all of those finishes that I'm making, or those tough little times I'm going to the basket and there's help, that's not really there in the NBA, they'll help, but they can't, because if they help too much, it's a wide open three. Right. So it's it's not really much help in the NBA. And then with here, it helps with learning, just with me, it helped learning rotations, spacing, and drawing fouls for me, because now I have the space to work. When I didn't have the space to work last year, it's it looks like candy now, so it's I'm just excited to get out there and just really prove myself, finish this season up strong, try to be the best that we can be, and then, be the strongest I can be in my career.
Right. We talked with other guys who have, not that that's the case for you, but that we've talked to other guys who have been hurt, and then they see the game from another angle and a different perspective, and then they see how open it is. So it's kind of like what you're saying, you come here, and now you're watching maybe the NBA or the G League or whatever it is, and now you see how much space you have. I've been watching some of your clips, you got I saw one of these threes that you got space in the left, or you've been going out you're
that was nasty.
That was tough. But you're splitting two guys and then trying to hurdle between another two, but just like you said, in the NBA, you're doing that. It's not four guys, it's maybe two guys.
Yeah.
Right. And if someone's helping, you got a 40% shooter in the corner.
Open. You got a Kyle Korver wide open,
exactly,
waiting for the three. And it's so I mean, just learning those things, and just learning also the other things, just trying to be more of a leader, just for me. And the more you become a leader, if you never learn how to follow, you can never become a leader.
Yeah.
And that was my biggest thing. And that's why I've always been a sponge, because I've always wanted to be a leader, but I've always known that I've also had to understand to be a follower for the right reasons, not a follower in the bad reasons, but a follower in the good reasons, because then eventually you'll learn enough to be a leader.
For sure. I mean, your discipline and your perseverance is just admirable, I gotta say. So that's awesome, and I'm really excited to see what you have coming forward.
Thank you. I appreciate
it's awesome.
It's going to be huge. So a few more questions before we start to wrap up. I was curious because, of course, we know your career as a dunker up until now. But when you're in that and you're understanding that it's one of your strengths and that's the thing you can do better than everybody else. So at what point does that become when you're trying to, get to the lane, you don't want to, you fuck getting a foul, you just want to dunk on somebody. So at what point, I guess my question is, in your career, did you understand that you want to, do what's best for that team? You sometimes you have to make a different play. And at what point do you kind of need to adjust an understanding from just making the highlight reel and putting everybody on a poster to moving to the side of whatever it needs to do to have the team win the game, which is, I think, hard for a lot of young athletes now, which is prove yourself all the time, no matter what. And that's the only option, as you were saying before. So at what point in your career did you come to understand that that's something that you need to maybe put aside to help the team win?
When I got out of, probably when I first got to RGV, we went to the G League Championship, And after that season, I was getting hurt more than I gained a lot of weight, and well, I didn't gain a lot of weight, but I gained more weight, and I felt stronger, and I felt like I was getting a lot better. But it was like as you go through it, I started thinking like, damn, I've been dunking for like 9 years, and it's like, damn, like you want to have a long career, you just got to be mindful. I'm not saying to not do it, but now I'm not trying to dunk everything like I used to. You know what I mean? Like before, I couldn't even tell you a layup. You know what I mean? I'm trying to dunk everything. Like all those highlights you see, I probably done missed 2 of them, 2 dunks already.
I mean,
but
you
I made
see
4
the
out
free
of
throw
6,
line.
but not now. But I'm saying in high school,
But I mean,
I'm trying stuff. I'm trying to 360 dudes, windmill
Wow.
dudes. I was just trying stuff. Like, you know what I mean? So like going through all of that, I got like a large wrist now from that, and it's like, man, let me try to keep my career longevity. And if I'm coming down the court, open lane, and it's a 1, then I dunk him. But
Yeah, he's getting dunked on.
I'm not trying to dunk something. I'm under the rim, and I used to try to 360 under that. I just try to do all types of crazy stuff. So,
it's like you see the free throw line, and I feel like you're going up.
yeah, no, I've done that in the game.
I saw.
Yeah, word. I dunked from the free throw line in the game, word. And then I did something like, I went like try to dunk with 2 hands, and he swept over me, and I went like under the rim.
Oh,
And I
jeez.
felt like I was falling, flipped over or some shit. I don't even know. I don't even know how I did that to this day. And everybody be asking me. I'd be like, I don't think I could do that again.
I mean, you're still getting up there. You had a few dunks this year.
Nah, yeah, I'm not gonna say I don't got bounce. Like I still can jump really high, but it's like, do I choose to want to do that now? Not really, because like I got hurt twice here trying to dunk on somebody, and I'm cool after that. That kind of taught me the firm lesson. That was the final lesson. Like after
Right.
that, I've been shooting mid range floaters.
Yeah, that also
layups.
helps with the game. You know,
Yeah.
you
No,
want to
seriously.
realize.
I mean,
that.
you also see like in the NBA G League in America, you're around that area and you're going up. People are getting the fuck out of the way.
Yeah, and dude's not doing that here.
Nah, they're gonna check you a little bit too.
They're definitely checking me. If you watched when I first came out here, we had it's like the pre-season games.
Yeah, the
We
cup.
played
kind of thing.
Halone. I tried to dunk. I don't even know who I tried. I think who's the big man at Halone with all the tattoos?
Oh, Michael Kaiser.
Michael
He was
Kaiser.
on the show.
I tried to dunk on him, and he went like this. It did like this. I flipped over him and broke my whole hand.
Oh, shit.
I was
Deadass?
like, never again.
Oh,
Never
my God.
again.
Damn.
Because usually a dude would jump with me or like jump
Right.
past me, you know?
Right.
I ain't never seen a dude like literally just stand there. I'm like feet at his shoulders, like, or feet like right here. So when I went to go like this, I literally clipped him and I just flipped over.
Damn, that's
and I'm
scary.
falling straight down like this, and I went and landed on my hand and I broke my hand.
I said to rehab that while you were here.
Yeah, like literally, when was that game? September, I think. when I got
Wow.
here? Like literally a week after I got here.
What was that rehab like out here in Israel?
It's definitely different.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not gonna say that it was the best treatment I've gotten, but I'm grateful. So it is what it
Everything
is.
worked out. Yeah, we had Michael on. He's like I guess you got to respect that all he does is block shots. It's like we introduced him on the show where he's like, he's all-time Champions League leader in blocks. So I guess,
All-time NCAA too.
Yeah, but he didn't. So sometimes I guess that's why he just stands there. But sometimes you
No,
get
he was
dunked
gonna
on.
jump, but then I think I jumped faster than him, and he was like, this will look bad. And, so I feel him. No, I definitely understood, but at the time, that was my first game in Europe, so I'm still thinking
Juiced. Yeah.
like how in the league. I'm like, shit, I'm trying to dunk it. I just scored a 3, hit 2 layups. I'm like, oh, this is the time right now. This is a momentum play. After that, I didn't play for like a whole month.
Oh, damn.
I was like, oh, never again. And then recently, I played against Maccabi, and then I tried to dunk, and I hurt my toe. So I'm like, oh yeah, it's over with. I'm not doing that. I'm not trying to dunk like that unless it's wide open or unless I'm already with a super adrenaline. Like,
Do you think when you go back to the States that mindset will change a little?
I mean, I'm still aggressive as a person. Like, I still like. That's why it's tough to tell people that, because if I tell them like, oh, I'm not gonna be dunking like that, they'll be like, oh man, you're not gonna dunk no more, and they be disappointed. And I'd be like, nah, it's not that. It's just that's not what I'm shooting for. Like I used to.
For sure, yeah.
Like before, I used to be like, I'm dunking somebody today. Like
Now you're just being mindful of it.
I'm just like, I don't need to dunk somebody today. But if he's in the way, then shit, it might be, But I'm not like how I used to be. Like I used to be like, oh, I'm trying to dunk somebody today. Yeah, that's that type of day. But now I'll be like, yeah, I might get a dunk today, but not dunk somebody. Like, a quick little dunk.
Yeah.
Be healthy and stuff.
No, I hear that. That's the Jam fam to like actually being a pro. That's the difference that you
That's
got
what
to
I'm
keep in
saying.
mind.
Because you a Jam fan, I was trying to windmill everybody 360. I have all types of dunks on my Instagram I took off. 'Cause
Yeah,
I'm
we
I'm
seen them.
I'm like, yeah, I used to do crazy stuff. I used to try to do.
I thought we were gonna see you in the dunk contest out here.
Yeah, I hurt my toe.
Yeah,
That's what I was, because I wouldn't have. I definitely was trying to do that though, but we ended up playing Maccabi like 2 days before that, and I hurt my toe there, and I was like, I couldn't even play, so I was like, y'all could have that. Like,
Off the record, you probably maybe still have one.
Oh yeah, for
It was
sure.
a- I
Going
wasn't-
off of
I
one
wasn't-
leg. I think Deshaun Francis won.
yeah, from her
Had like
right?
like
see it.
through the legs one and like one like this.
I got some tricks though. I ain't gonna lie. I got a lot of dunk tricks though. I got
Believe
some
it,
tricks though.
for
Yeah,
sure.
for sure.
I wanted to ask about, so a little bit going back now, a few questions I was really just curious about. We spoke before about how New York is the mecca of basketball, and I think it totally is. But I think that identity is also pretty strong in your family, right? Like your dad is from New York. That's a big part of him.
Mm-hmm.
So just from that perspective, what can you tell us about being like a New Yorker, being how you carry yourself, and maybe when you're an athlete and that pride of being from New York, and kind of that carrying that with you all the way, growing through some of the adversity that you face when you're in a place like that, and how you can carry that on.
For sure, bro. Like, I mean, my parents won't probably be as happy if I say this, but even to them, like, they believed in me, and their goal for me was college, but they didn't believe I was going to be in the NBA too. And I know that. Even my friends, though, but it's okay because I was delusional enough to believe it. And shit, I made it happen. And that's my biggest thing to give to especially younger dudes and stuff. Don't ever let nobody tell you can't do anything, because I wasn't the best on my team for 3 years straight. I think I averaged fucking 3 points my freshman year, 5-6 points my sophomore year, then my junior year I averaged like 11. That's nothing, like in high school, you know what I mean? So for me, it took time, you know what I mean? And it took me psyching myself out to actually like pass that threshold, because a lot of dudes, if you don't realize, they just quit. And that's really the difference between a lot of dudes, because I know guys that went from JUCO to NAIA that are in the NBA right now. I know them personally, and I know dudes that are way better than them that stopped playing basketball. No reason they're better is because they stopped. I mean, they aren't better is because they stopped playing, and they stop believing in themselves. And I feel like once you lose confidence in yourself, then that's when you need to start. And not having fun, you need to start putting that basketball down, because after that, it's gonna be work for you. And to me, it doesn't feel like work. I feel like I've been living my life for 24 years, so you know.
Yeah, that's a blessing. That's a blessing.
Once you don't have fun with it, and once you start losing confidence, you're gonna be waking up groggy every day, that's somebody that got to do a 9 to 5, and it's like I never felt like that, you know. So I'm just always blessed, and that's how I feel.
Yeah, man, that's great to hear, honestly, because like that's the attitude. We talked to a lot of guys. That's how you do it. If you approach it every day, like that's how you're reaching the next level. That's how you're building on your accomplishments of what you do, and that's what overseas basketball is all about. Like it really is just building on year by year. The difference is a lot of guys sign 1-year contracts and don't sign 5 years. So that's what it is. It's building year by year, and what can you do next year based on what you did last year. So that mentality is like that's everything, honestly.
Got to.
It's awesome. Well, we appreciate you coming. We have a little segment we do at the end of our pods. We got like a shot clock. We'll put up a shot clock. We'll just ask you like quick questions. You just got to answer quickly. I think the record's like 10 right now.
Oh no, but new season though.
New
so
season,
you got
the
new
record's
record.
wiped. So
10
just
seconds.
no. Well, it'll be like 24, 30 seconds, and you just have to answer as
No,
many
it's,
questions.
it's
Okay,
24 seconds, but we're light with it. Sometimes
We're light with it. It's
we
like
let guys go
if there's a
30.
question at 20, you get the last.
Don't mind me. I didn't go to college, so. You know.
Oh, we're not asking any
I'll
math
play.
questions. All right, you want to start?
I'll start.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
Best basketball sneaker to hoop in.
Kobe's.
Favorite New York music artist.
Nas.
Favorite basketball movie?
Loving basketball.
LeBron or Jordan?
Oh, LeBron.
Pre-game meal.
Chick-fil-A sandwich.
Favorite G League team you played on.
Wisconsin Herd.
All right. Is that
Favorite city in Israel?
Tel Aviv.
Shabbat or Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving.
Oh,
I haven't been to a Shabbat yet.
you
No,
haven't?
No,
Damn,
Bro-
you gotta come out, bro.
I would.
Come
Seriously.
out, man.
He's
We're
a-
having lunch tomorrow. You wanna come?
Really?
If you're
What time?
if you're on Tel Aviv,
12 o'clock.
12:30.
Really?
Pull up.
Pull up.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you I'm gonna be there at 11. This is not black people time. I'm gonna be there at 11, so I'll probably be there at 11:30.
Bet.
So I'm
All right,
gonna
sounds good. Well, we appreciate you coming, man.
For sure.
It definitely was a long drive, so
Yeah,
we really
no, it was
appreciate
dope. I'm
it.
just gonna go to the beach and just.
Hell yeah. All right, we won't keep you any longer then. Thank you, bro. We appreciate it. Best luck the rest of the
Thank you,
season.
man. Y'all have a blessed day, man.